Elias Mercer was folding laundry when the alien appeared in his room. There was no flash of light, no sound, no warning. 1 second the room was quiet, except for the hum of the old ceiling fan, and the next second there was someone else standing near the window, looking around as if she had always belonged there. Elias froze with a shirt half folded in his hands. She was tall, but not in a threatening way. Her body shape was close to human, though her movements were smoother, slower, as if gravity treated her differently. Her skin had a faint silver tone that caught the light instead of reflecting it. Her eyes were large and dark, with no clear white, and they focused on everything at once: walls, floor, Elias the fan, like a scanner trying to understand a messy picture. She wore no armor, no weapon. Just a simple, seamless outfit that looked grown rather than made. Neither of them spoke for several seconds. Elias finally broke the silence. Hi? She turned her head toward him. When she spoke, her voice was calm, almost curious, like she was testing how sound worked. Hello, Elias Mercer. That was when his heart began to race. You know my name, he said slowly. Yes, she replied. Your name was easy to find. Your species shares information very freely. Elias carefully placed the shirt on the bed. His brain was trying to catch up, throwing words at him like alien, dream, panic, run. None of them helped. Okay, he said, forcing his voice to stay steady. So, who are you? And why are you in my room? She looked at the bed, the chair covered in clothes, the small desk cluttered with books and empty cups. Then she looked back at him. I am an observer, she said. I am here because this location is optimal. For what? Elias asked. For exposure. That did not help. Before he could say anything else, a small device on his desk lit up. His tablet screen flashed red, then blue, then filled with text. Do not panic. First contact protocol active. Follow instructions. Elias stared at the screen. Ah, of course. That makes sense. This is how my life ends. In my bedroom. The alien tilted her head. Your heart rate has increased. Are you distressed? Just a little, Elias said. Actually, a lot. You kind of skipped the knocking part. Knocking is inefficient, she said. I required uninterrupted proximity. Proximity to me? He asked. Yes. Elias rubbed his face. Great. I'm special. She studied him closely now. Not just his face, but his posture, his breathing, the way his fingers twitched slightly at his sides. You are average, she said. That's comforting, I think. Another message appeared on the tablet. You are not in danger. Cooperate. She is not hostile, Elias sighed. Government says you're not hostile. That's good. Why do you look like you're planning to stay? I am, she said. His eyes widened. You're what? I will remain in this room for the duration of the study. The duration of... No. You don't get to just move in. I pay rent. She considered this. I will not interfere with your payment ritual. That's not the point, Elias said. How long is this study? She paused, as if calculating something very far away. Unknown, she said. Elias laughed once, sharp and nervous. You're joking. I do not joke, she replied. However, humans often laugh when overwhelmed. This response is one of the reasons you are problematic. Problematic how? She stepped closer. Elias resisted the urge to step back. She smelled faintly like rain and cold metal. My species experiences unusual cognitive effects in your presence, she said. The longer the exposure, the stronger the response. And you decided the best way to handle that was to trap yourself in my room? Yes, that sounds like a terrible plan. It is the most accurate one. She moved to the chair and sat down without asking. The chair creaked under her weight. Elias stared. That's my chair. I am aware. She closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them again, her pupils had widened. Your environment is disordered, she said. Yet you appear comfortable. Welcome to humanity, Elias replied. Minutes passed, then more minutes. She did not leave. She watched him fold laundry. She watched him pace. She watched him check his tablet for updates that never came. Finally, Elias dropped onto the bed. You're really not leaving, are you? No. Why me? He asked. There are billions of humans. Smarter ones. Why pick a random guy with a small apartment and bad internet? She hesitated. That was new. You were not chosen for importance, she said carefully. You were chosen for consistency. Consistency? You wake at predictable times. You exhibit stable emotional patterns. You demonstrate curiosity without aggression. That might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me. She looked at him again, longer this time. There is another reason, she added. Elias waited. You do not attempt to dominate uncertainty, she said. You accept it, he snorted. I wouldn't say accept, more like tolerate while complaining. That distinction is valuable, she said. The tablet buzzed again. Situation temporary. Do not attempt to remove her. Elias groaned. So that's it? I just live with an alien now? Yes, she said. I will observe. You will continue. That's very one-sided. I can answer questions, she offered. Fine, Elias said. First question. Why did you say humans are problematic? She leaned back slightly. Because humans create feedback. In what way? You express emotion freely, she said. You form attachments quickly. You persist despite inefficiency. These traits produce neurological responses in my species that do not stabilize. Elias frowned. You're saying you react to us? Yes. Like emotionally? She did not answer right away. Yes, she said finally. That word landed heavier than any threat could have. You're telling me, Elias said slowly, that an advanced alien species crossed the stars and can't handle human feelings? That is a simplified explanation, she replied, but accurate. Wow, Elias said. We finally found something we're good at. Her eyes focused sharply on him. You find this amusing, she said. Yeah, he admitted. It's either laugh or scream. That choice, she said softly, is part of the effect. Elias felt a strange chill. You keep saying effect, he said. What exactly is happening to you? She looked down at her hands. For the first time, her fingers trembled. My thoughts accelerate in your presence, she said. I experience focus and distraction simultaneously. When I am near you, I do not wish to leave. That sounds unhealthy. Yes, she said, which is why I must remain. That makes zero sense. It does to me. She stood suddenly, pacing the small room. Separation causes discomfort. Absence creates longing. These are not responses my species was designed to experience. Elias swallowed. You're saying humans are addictive? She stopped and looked directly at him. Yes. The word hung in the air. That's not great, Elias said. No, she agreed. It is unprecedented. Silence followed. Outside, a car passed. Life continued like nothing had changed. You know, Elias said carefully, most addictions are bad. She nodded. That is why my superiors are concerned. And they sent you? I volunteered, she said. Why? Her voice lowered. Because I could not stop thinking about you. Elias's breath caught. We just met. Time is irrelevant, she replied. Impact is not. Another message appeared on the tablet. Observer reports escalating response. Monitor closely. Elias looked at her. So what happens now? She met his gaze, unblinking. Now, she said, I stay, I observe, and we learn whether humanity is a risk or a necessity. And if we're a risk? Her expression softened in a way that made his chest tighten. Then the galaxy will have to decide, she said, if it can afford to lose you. Elias leaned back against the wall, heart pounding. An alien sat in his chair, unable to leave his room, and somehow, deep down, he knew this was only the beginning. Elias did not sleep much that night. It was not because of fear, exactly. The alien woman did not threaten him, did not move without warning, did not touch anything without asking. She simply existed in the room with a calm certainty that made it impossible to forget she was there. She stood near the window for hours, watching the city lights like they were a puzzle with no solution. Elias lay on his bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to the soft rhythm of her breathing. It was slower than his, deeper, and strangely steady. When morning came, he realized something uncomfortable. She had not left. She had not even shifted position. You don't sleep? Elias asked, rubbing his eyes as he sat up. I enter low activity states, she replied. They are not required to be horizontal. That sounds exhausting, he said. It is efficient. He shuffled toward the kitchen corner of his small apartment and started the coffee machine. The smell filled the room. The alien turned her head instantly. What is that? She asked. Coffee, Elias said. It keeps humans functioning. She moved closer, watching the liquid drip into the mug. It smells bitter, she observed. That's how you know it works. She leaned in slightly, eyes narrowing. May I? Elias hesitated, then shrugged. Sure, but it might not agree with alien biology. She took the mug carefully, examined it, then took a very small sip. Her eyes widened. That is unpleasant, she said. Elias laughed. The sound echoed in the small room. The alien froze, staring at him. Why did you make that sound? She asked. Because your face was priceless, he said, still smiling. She stared for several seconds longer than normal. Then, slowly, the corners of her mouth lifted just a little. I believe, she said, this is called humor. Congrats, Elias replied. You're learning. As the day went on, she followed him everywhere in the apartment, always at a respectful distance, always watching. She observed him brush his teeth, check messages, eat a simple breakfast. She asked questions constantly. Why do you consume food even when not hungry? Because it tastes good. Why do you speak aloud when alone? Thinking is easier when I hear it. Why do you keep objects that serve no function? Elias picked up a cracked old photo frame from his desk. Inside was a picture of him and a few friends, smiling badly at the camera. Because they remind me of people, he said. She studied the image closely. You are not alone in this image. No, Elias said. But I am now. Her eyes softened. Does that cause discomfort? Sometimes, he admitted. She was quiet for a long moment. I experience increased cognitive noise when you say things like that, she said. That's not good, is it? I do not know, she replied honestly. By midday, the tablet chimed again. Observer status, update. Continue passive study, no intervention. Elias stared at the message. They're really just letting this happen? Yes, she said. They are concerned that removal may worsen the response. So I'm basically a test subject. You are a variable, she corrected, but not a disposable one. That's reassuring, Elias muttered. She moved closer again, sitting on the floor this time, legs folded awkwardly like she had learned the position by watching him earlier. Elias, she said, do you resent my presence? He considered the question carefully. I didn't ask for this, he said. But no, not really. Her eyes focused sharply on his face. Why? Because you're trying to understand, he said. And you're not treating me like a thing. She looked down at her hands again. The faint tremble had returned. That distinction is difficult for my species, she said. We study from a distance. We observe patterns, not people. And now? Now I am failing to maintain distance. The afternoon passed slowly. Elias worked on his laptop while she watched, occasionally asking about words, symbols, or expressions on the screen. She seemed especially interested when he frowned or smiled at something. Your face changes rapidly, she noted. Faces do that, Elias said. Yes, she replied, but yours changes in ways I find compelling. He glanced at her. Compelling how? She hesitated. Again. It increases my desire to remain near you, she said. Elias swallowed. That sounds like a problem. It is, she agreed, yet I do not wish to correct it. That night he cooked a simple dinner. She watched closely as he chopped vegetables, flinching slightly when the knife moved too fast. You fear harm? He asked. No, she said. I fear interruption. Interruption of what? She met his eyes. Of this. Something heavy settled in Elias's chest. After dinner, the city grew quiet. Lights dimmed outside. Elias sat on the bed again, scrolling aimlessly on his tablet. She stood near him, closer than before. Elias, she said, may I ask a personal question? You've been doing that all day, he replied. Go ahead. Why do humans continue when existence causes pain? He looked at her, surprised by the question. Because it also causes good things, he said. And because stopping isn't really in our nature. Pain avoidance is logical, she said. Persistence is not. That's us, Elias said. Not logical. She nodded slowly. This contradiction is central to the response. The addiction thing again? Yes, she said. Your species creates meaning from suffering. That process stimulates neural structures my species abandoned long ago. You abandoned them? We removed them, she corrected. They were inefficient. And now, she said quietly, I feel their absence. Her breathing changed, faster, less controlled. The tablet chimed sharply. Warning! Observer emotional spike detected. Adjust conditions. She stepped back suddenly, pressing her hand to her chest. I should distance myself, she said. Do you want to? Elias asked. She shook her head. No. Then don't, he said gently. She looked at him like he had said something dangerous. You do not fear contamination, she said. We're already contaminated, Elias replied. With each other. The words seemed to affect her strongly. She closed her eyes, steadying herself. I am no longer recording data accurately, she admitted. That bad? Yes. Then stop recording, Elias said. She opened her eyes slowly. That is not permitted. Neither was moving into my room, he pointed out. A long pause followed. I will minimize data input, she said, for stability. She sat down on the bed, careful to keep space between them. Elias could feel warmth radiating from her. Why are you staying? Really? He asked quietly. She answered without hesitation this time. 'Cause when I am with you, she said. I feel present. That's it? That is everything. Outside, a siren wailed in the distance. Life went on. Elias leaned back, staring at the ceiling again. You know, he said. Humans get attached pretty easily, too. She turned her head toward him. Is that why you allow me to remain? Maybe, he admitted. Or maybe I don't like being alone anymore. Her fingers curled slightly into the blanket. That response, she said, is mutual. The tablet lit up one last time before going dark. Oberstatus. Compromised. Continue maniring. Elias exhaled slowly. An alien observer was no longer observing. She was staying. And somewhere far beyond the room, someone was starting to realize that humans were not just interesting. They were dangerous in a way no one had expected. The change did not happen all at once. At first, Elias only noticed small things. The alien woman, who had once stood perfectly still for hours, now shifted often. She asked fewer technical questions and more strange ones. Questions that did not fit into charts or reports. What do humans feel when they are watched? She asked one morning. Usually annoyed, Elias said. Sometimes comforted. And now. He glanced at her. Now, I guess, understood. She went very still after that. Messages from the tablet came more often. Sometimes they flashed so quickly Elias barely read them before they vanished. He caught fragments. Secondary observers arriving. Do not interfere. Maintain baseline conditions. What does that mean? Elias asked. She did not answer right away. It means, she said slowly, others are beginning to experience similar responses. To humans? Yes, just from watching, he asked. Watching was sufficient at first, she replied. Now, it is not. That afternoon, Elias heard a sound he never expected, a knock. He stared at the door. The alien woman's posture stiffened. Remain calm, she said. That's easy for you to say, Elias replied, heart pounding. The door opened before he reached it. 2 figures stood in the hallway. They were clearly alien, but very different from the woman in the room. Taller, sharper movements. Their eyes glowed faintly, scanning everything with cold precision. They stepped inside without waiting for permission. Elias felt suddenly very human, very small. We are observers, one of them said. You are Elias Mercer? Yeah, Elias said. That's me. Still alive. So far. The second observer ignored him, focusing instead on the woman. You have exceeded safe exposure limits, the second said. Your cognitive readings are unstable. I am aware, she replied calmly. You are compromised. No, she said. I am informed. The word surprised Elias. It surprised the others too. They turned their attention to him. This human is the source, the first observer said. He is unremarkable. Incorrect, she said immediately. Elias raised an eyebrow. I feel defended. The observers circled the room, eyes lingering on the bed, the desk, the scattered personal items. This environment amplifies the effect, the second observer said. Crude, emotional, unsafe. Elias crossed his arms. You don't get to judge my room. They ignored him. Human, the first observer said, turning back. Describe your emotional state. Elias frowned. You want honesty? Yes. I'm nervous, he said. Curious. Tired. A little annoyed and worried about her. The observers froze. Concern detected, the second said sharply. Yes, Elias replied. That happens when you live with someone. That bond formed too quickly, the first observer said. That's humans, Elias said. We don't wait for permission. The alien woman's breathing quickened slightly. Remove yourself from him, the second observer ordered her. She did not move. I decline, she said. This is not a request. It is not an order I will follow. Silence filled the room, thick and heavy. Elias felt something cold settle in his stomach. Is this the part where things go bad? The first observer looked at him. Your species does not understand consequence. Oh, we do, Elias said. We just keep going anyway. The second observer activated a device. A low hum filled the air. Elias felt pressure behind his eyes, like the room was pushing inward. The woman gasped softly. Stop, Elias said sharply. The observers turned to him. You are causing her pain, he said. She is experiencing correction, the second observer replied. That's pain, Elias snapped. You don't get to rename it. Something strange happened then. The hum wavered. The device flickered. The observers looked at each other, confused. The woman straightened, eyes wide. I feel resistance, she said. Elias felt it too. Not physically, but emotionally. Like something inside him had dug in its heels. Yeah, he said quietly. That's another thing about humans. The observers stepped back. This is spreading faster than predicted, the first said. Human emotional feedback is destabilizing trained observers, the second added. This is no longer isolated. The woman moved closer to Elias without thinking. Her hand hovered near his arm, not touching, but close. Distance is no longer reducing the response, she said. Only connection stabilizes it? The observers stiffened. That is unacceptable. Then adapt, Elias said. That's what we do. They stared at him. Your species cannot be integrated safely, the first observer said. You alter cognition without consent. Funny, Elias replied. That's what you're doing right now. The second observer turned to the woman. You will return with us. She shook her head. No. This defiance is a symptom, the observer said. No, she said firmly. It is a choice. The tablet lit up violently. Galactic Console alert. Humans reclassified. Cognitive anomaly. Risk level increasing, Elias read it twice. That sounds bad. Yes, she said softly. The observers backed toward the door. This environment is compromised, the first said. We will withdraw and reassess. They paused, looking at Elias one last time. You are not aggressive, the second observer said. That makes you more dangerous. The door closed behind them. Silence rushed back in. Elias's legs finally gave out. He sat heavily on the bed. Okay, he said. That went poorly. The woman stood, shaking slightly. They will not stop, she said. Others are already experiencing symptoms. Humans across the network are causing similar effects. Just by existing. Yes. Elias rubbed his face. So what happens now? She looked at him, eyes filled with something new. Fear. They may choose isolation, she said. Or removal. Removal of us? He asked. Of humanity, she corrected. Elias felt anger rise, hot and sharp. We didn't do anything wrong, he said. You existed, she replied. That was enough. He stood and faced her. And you? I am already considered lost, she said quietly. That's not true. It is, she said, but I do not regret it. The tablet chimed again. Protocol under review. Human contact restricted. Prepare countermeasures. Elias clenched his fists. They're scared. Yes, she said, and my people do not respond well to fear. What about you? He asked. She met his gaze. I respond like a human, she said. That hit him harder than anything else. You know, Elias said slowly, if they think we're dangerous because we care, they're missing the point. What is the point? She asked. We don't stop caring, he said. Even when it hurts, especially then. Her hand finally touched his arm. Just for a moment, the tremble eased. Your species is not addictive, she said softly. It is connective. The tablet went dark. Somewhere far beyond the room, decisions were being made. Big ones, dangerous ones, and in a small apartment. A human and an alien sat side by side, realizing that humanity had just become something the galaxy could not control. Not with weapons, not with distance, not at all. The silence after the tablet went dark felt heavier than any noise. Elias sat still, his arm warm where her hand had touched him. The alien woman pulled her hand back slowly, like she was afraid of breaking something fragile. They are afraid, Elias said again, more to himself than to her. Yes, she replied. Fear drives efficiency-based decisions. Which usually means bad ones, Elias said. She nodded. Correct. Outside the window, drones moved through the sky. Elias had seen them before, part of Earth's new reality since first contact. Tonight, there were more than usual. They hovered longer, watched more closely. They're watching us, Elias said. They are watching humanity, she corrected. This room is no longer unique. Elias frowned. What do you mean? She walked to the window and looked down at the city. Her eyes focused, distant, like she was listening to something Elias could not hear. Reports are coming in, she said. Observers embedded across your world are experiencing similar effects. Humans who talk. Humans who listen. Humans who comfort. That's most of us, Elias said. Yes, she replied. That is the problem. The tablet flickered back to life, weaker than before, like it was struggling. Human responses, patterns unpredictable. Emotional contagion, confirmed. Recommend. Containment. Elias felt a knot tighten in his chest. Containment doesn't sound friendly. It is not, she said. He stood and began pacing the small room. They can't just lock us away. We didn't attack anyone. No, she said. You connected with them. That's worse? For a civilization built on control, she said. Yes. So what do humans do when someone bigger and smarter decides we're a problem? She watched him carefully. Historically, he said, we adapt. Her eyes widened slightly. Explain. We don't win by being stronger, Elias said. We win by changing the rules. The tablet chimed again. Human diplomatic channel. Opening. Partial access granted. Elias stared. That's new. It means your leadership is aware, she said. Good, Elias replied. Because they need to hear this. Over the next hours, Elias spoke more than he ever had in his life. Not just to the tablet, but to cameras, recorders, unseen listeners. He explained what was happening in simple terms. They're not afraid of our weapons, he said. They're afraid of us caring. They don't know how to handle it. Across the city, across the planet, other humans were doing the same. Scientists, soldiers, teachers, ordinary people who had spent time with observers and felt the strange pull, the quiet understanding. Humans shared stories, laughter, music, art, and the effect multiplied. The alien woman watched it all, overwhelmed. This escalation is dangerous, she said, voice tight. They will see this as provocation, or as proof, Elias replied. That we're not trying to hurt anyone. That distinction may not matter to them, she said. It matters to us, he said firmly. The room grew warmer as systems activated around the building. Elias felt a low vibration under his feet. They're moving, he said. Yes, she replied. Containment fleets are positioning. Elias felt fear rise, sharp and real. But under it was something else. Stubbornness. Then we meet them halfway, he said. She turned to him sharply. That is dangerous. So is doing nothing, Elias said. You said connection stabilizes you. What if that's true for them, too? She hesitated. You suggest controlled exposure? Yeah, Elias said. Not isolation, not removal. Interaction, on our terms. Her breathing quickened again, but this time not from distress. That would require trust, she said. Elias smiled faintly. Welcome to humanity. The tablet displayed a new message, longer than the others. Proposal received. Human-led interaction modal under review. Observer tests, subjects requested. She looked at him. They are asking for volunteers. Of course they are, Elias said. We'll do it. She stiffened. You will not. Yes, I will, Elias said. And so will you. I am compromised, she said. I am no longer neutral. Neither are they, Elias replied. That makes you perfect. For the first time since she arrived, she laughed. Soft, surprised, almost human. You are reckless, she said. True, Elias agreed, but it works. Hours later, the room changed. A field shimmered into existence, transparent but solid. The air felt different, like pressure before a storm. 3 new observers appeared inside the field, standing rigid, eyes alert. They looked at Elias. They looked at her, and something shifted. Their posture faltered. One of them blinked too often. State your condition, the lead observer demanded. I am calm, Elias said. You? The observer paused. I am distracted. That's okay, Elias said. You don't have to fight it. The alien woman stepped forward, standing beside Elias. This is controlled, she said. Connection without loss of identity. The observers listened. They could not help it. Elias talked. About being afraid. About being small in a big universe. About choosing to care anyway. The effect was immediate. One observer sat down slowly, as if their legs no longer trusted themselves. This sensation, they said quietly. It is grounding. Yes, she said. That is presence. The field flickered. Outside the room, alarms softened. Ships slowed. Across the galaxy, data streams spiked in ways no model had predicted. Humans were not attacking. They were offering themselves. Connection as a bridge, emotion as a tool. Elias felt exhausted, but alive. When it was over, the observers withdrew, changed. The tablet chimed one final time. Human status under review. Reclassification possible. Elias leaned against the wall, breathing hard. She looked at him with something like awe. You did not dominate, she said. You invited. That's kind of our thing, Elias replied. She nodded slowly. My species believed control was safety. And now? He asked. And now, she said, we see what we lost. Outside, the drones pulled back. The sky cleared. The galaxy had not decided yet. But for the first time, Humanity was not being measured by power. It was being measured by heart. And that terrified them all. The waiting was worse than the fear. Elias sat on the floor with his back against the bed, staring at the quiet tablet. The room felt empty, even though she was still there. Not empty of presence, but empty of noise, of messages, of constant alerts. For the first time since she arrived, the galaxy was silent. She stood near the window, hands folded, watching the sky. The drones were gone now. The ships had pulled back. Nothing moved except clouds and distant lights. "They are deciding," she said softly. Elias nodded. Figures. Time passed strangely after that. Minutes felt long. Hours slipped by unnoticed. Elias ate because he knew he should. She did not, but she stayed close, as if distance itself had become uncomfortable. "Do you regret this?" Elias asked eventually. She turned to him. "No, that was fast. I regret many things," she said, "but not learning this. This being human adjacent?" He joked weakly, but she studied him. "Is that how you would define it?" He shrugged. "We're bad at definitions. Better at experiences." "That explains much," she said. The tablet finally lit up, not with warnings, not with threats, with a single line. Galactic Council decision in progress. Human representative. Requested. Elias laughed quietly. "They want to talk to me. Of all people. You were the first," she said. "First contact is rarely forgotten. Lucky me." The air in the room shimmered again, but this time it felt different. Softer, like an invitation instead of a barrier. A figure appeared, larger than the observers. Older somehow. Its movements were slower, weighted with authority. "Elias Mercer," the figure said. "You represent your species poorly." Elias blinked. "Wow, straight to the insults." "And yet," the figure continued, "you represent them accurately." "That's better?" Elias said. The figure turned its gaze to the alien woman. "You have changed?" "Yes," she replied. "I chose to. Your choice has altered interstellar stability." "So has fear," she said calmly. The figure paused. "Humans were classified as a cognitive threat," it said. "Not because of intent, but effect." "We know," Elias said. "We read the memos." "You disrupt emotional equilibrium," the figure continued. "You create bonds without permission. You inspire attachment." Elias leaned forward. "We don't force it. We just show up. That is the danger," the figure said. "And the value." The silence stretched. "We have studied your history," the figure said. "You are fragile. Short-lived, divided." "Yep," Elias said. "Still true, and yet," the figure continued, "you persist. You care for strangers. You mourn losses you never met. You fight for ideas that do not benefit you." "That's the addiction part, right?" Elias asked. "Hope. Meaning, all that messy stuff." "Yes," the figure said. "And we do not know how to resist it." Elias took a breath. "Then don't." The figure tilted its head. "Explain. You don't have to be like us," Elias said. "Just let us exist alongside you. We won't conquer. We won't control. We'll connect. That's our strength. And your weakness," the figure said. "Every strength is," Elias replied. "We just accept the risk." The alien woman stepped forward. "Humans do not replace us," she said. "They remind us." "Of what?" the figure asked. "Of ourselves," she replied. The figure was silent for a long time. Then the tablet displayed new text, line by line, slow and deliberate. Human classification. Updated. Status. Keystone species. Roll. Interstellar stabilizers. Restrictions. None. Elias stared. Wait, what? The figure spoke again. You will not be isolated. You will not be removed. You will not be controlled. That's surprisingly reasonable, Elias said. You will be invited, the figure continued. Your presence will be requested where conflict escalates, where logic fails, where meaning collapses. You want us to talk? Elias asked. Yes, the figure said. And listen, and care. Elias exhaled, a shaky laugh escaping him. We can do that. The figure turned to the alien woman. You may remain. Her shoulders relaxed for the first time. Thank you, she said. The figure vanished. The room returned to normal. Quiet. Human. Elias lay back on the floor, staring at the ceiling. Well, that just changed everything. Yes, she agreed. So what happens now? She looked around the room, at the bed, the chair, the scattered pieces of a simple human life. Now, she said, humans become part of the galaxy. About time, Elias said. Days passed, then weeks. Elias's room became something strange. Important. Not officially at first, but people knew. Observers visited, diplomats, scientists. They came tense and left calmer. Changed. Some stayed longer than planned. Humans across the world were invited into new roles. Not as soldiers, not as rulers, but as anchors, as listeners, as reminders. They brought music to silent halls, stories to empty councils, laughter to places that had forgotten its sound. The galaxy did not become peaceful overnight, but it became human. One evening, Elias sat on his bed while the alien woman packed a small case. You're leaving, he said. Yes, she replied. For now. He nodded, trying not to feel the weight in his chest. You'll come back? She smiled, fully this time. Humans are difficult to leave. They stood awkwardly for a moment. Then she did something very unscientific. She hugged him. It was careful, brief, but real. Thank you, she said, for being. Elias swallowed. Anytime. She stepped back, then paused at the door. Oh, Elias, she said. What will you do now? He thought about it. I'll keep living, he said. Messy, inefficient, human. She nodded. That is why you matter. She left. The room felt quiet again, but not empty. Never empty. Because somewhere out there, across stars and worlds, the galaxy had learned something important. Humans did not conquer. They did not dominate. They did not infect. They connected. And once you let a human into your life, you never forgot them.